So I don't feel bad about our decision and our action in deciding that we're going to let go of things in the States and leave and come to live abroad. However, I feel like the narrative out there for some of the content creators that I followed even to help make this decision, is that you should feel bad. And this is not even the video that I wanted to make today, but it has been top of mind for me. So I felt a little inauthentic to not just say what's on my mind. And this one is challenging because you want to find like the right words. You don't want to ruffle feathers, but at the end of the day, it's going to come out how it's going to come out as best it can. And here we go. I followed a lot of creators when we were researching. We both did. We followed a lot of creators when we were researching where we wanted to go, what life was like, in different places, where were the best countries to kind of ease your way into either a nomadic living, living abroad lifestyle, specifically with a family. And I follow a lot of Black content creators, travel creators, because they represented me with families. I followed some couples, some solo, but mostly with families because they were going to be looking for similar things that I was looking for. They were going to be paying attention to similar things that I was paying attention to. And it was great. I so appreciate the lane that they carved so that I could get a peek into what this lifestyle could mean. And I needed that because as a Black family traveling, fortunately or unfortunately, I wanted like a green book for travel. Like, oh, you did it? You went there? It's cool. Okay. It's just it gives you a little bit of a sense of security in that space that someone has gone and done it, and someone who looks like you. And you're comfortable in your melanated skin wherever, as we should be, but the reality is that's not always the case. And I would say about 90 something percent of the creators that I followed, I would see these comments every so often that were like, if they're coming from the US, let me specify, that were like, you just up and left instead of trying to fix things here and fight, you just ran away. And I was like, like I genuinely did not realize that was even a narrative, because when I looked at it, I was like, good for you. You're making a way for yourself and doing what you feel like you need to do for your family. And a lot of them did say that part of their reasoning was safety. They didn't feel safe in the US. They didn't feel that their children were safe in schools. They didn't feel safe in their skin. Their nervous system was all out of whack because of the hustle and the bustle and how much you have to work for what you have. And then once you have it, the bar changes and you got to work even more to maintain what you have and not even get more. And there is a sense of surviving and maintaining, and not a sense of just thriving and abundance, right? And so for me, I'm looking at that and I'm like, that's what's up. But for other people, they're looking at it like, look at you running away. And I find that so problematic. I find it like the pendulum is swinging all the way to over here because this family or these people made a decision for their one life and how they wanted to live it. And that black and white mentality never really sits well with me. I kind of live in the gray. I live in the nuance. I don't see things as black and white. And so there's much more in there, right? And that's their why. And like, yo, let them have it. Let them cook. Probably saying that incorrectly, but it felt right at the time. Just say, like, do your thing and live your life, your one life you have, in the best way that you can possibly do for your wellness, your health, your well-being, and your health. And for me, my why was different. And I'm going to share because I don't think that a lot of folks are sharing the things that I'm going to share. Because to be honest, the current regime in the US and the election and the political climate was not even in my top 10 reasons as to why we decided to finally take action and leave. And I wrote my why down because if shit ever hit the fan, And I was like, oh my God, why did I do this? I can look at it and say, this is why you did this, Imani. This is why. This is what needs to anchor you. And my why is very personal to me, just like their why is very personal to them. And while I share some similar ones, right? I definitely wanted to have a more easeful life. Like, just how can we simplify things? What do we really need versus what we just got to compensate for how we're feeling about surviving and all of that, right? And wanting to be in an environment where I was family oriented, right? So I wanted to be in a space, and I'm going to share where we are in a minute and why we chose that place too. But I wanted to be somewhere where the culture of the country was family oriented. Now, in the US, I had a lot of community and family that obviously felt family oriented, that held us and that supported us. But I didn't feel like I was in a country at all that was family oriented. And I wanted to experience what it was like to be somewhere where the family is the treasure. The time with family is the treasure. Kids are not tolerated, they're actually embraced. The play places in the infrastructure aren't just in McDonald's. Kids are thought about, they're not just an afterthought. And I'm like, what would it feel like to be in a country that embraced family like that? That was very important to me. Personal development was like top of the list. Really figuring out what's my next state of elevation personally. Um, Making space for what that looks like, and passion and my passions and new passions and all of those things. Um, I felt very comfortable in my skin in a lot of places. And I have been in spaces where I've been the only chocolate chip. But then I would go home or go into my communities, and I was definitely amongst a lot of chocolate chips. And so there was a certain level of harmony in my life because of that. But what if that wasn't the case? What if, I'm in a country, and whether I'm at home or in a social engagement, just walking the street, I'm still the only chocolate drop and the only chocolate chip in the cookie. Am I still comfortable in my skin? Testing myself in this way, pushing myself in this way, finding out who I am and what I'm made of is a big part of like this. Because I'm like, you take me from the familiar and drop me into the unfamiliar. I'm gonna figure out some things about myself. Spanish immersion was big. World schooling, not just my kids, but myself. I saw that documentary too, and I want to see it in real life. I want to touch it. I want it to feel tangible and real for me. So not just my kids, but also for me. I wanted I wanted spaciousness for my Black man to dream. I wanted him to have space to not just feel like a workhorse, to delve into his passions, because over the years I have watched him work work and put dreams or passions on the shelf. And I was like, if you don't have the heaviness of what you have now, what are you capable of? My man is creative. He is thoughtful. He is someone who kind of, his mind just works in such a beautiful way when he's just like learning things, and he goes all in, and he can be so passionate about things. He loves cooking. I have cooked like maybe twice since we've been here, chef. And he's in that kitchen just creating and having fun and enjoying himself. And I'm like, I wanted there to be spaciousness for him to just be. That was a huge one for me. And I think just because of what I've seen over the years, that was big. Because that's for him, and that trickles down to our family dynamic. His time, his energy, his sense of fulfillment and alignment is really important, just like mine and our kids. And that changes, hopefully, this is the idea, right? I'm taking y'all on the journey with me, but I feel like that helps to change the dynamic in the family. And and the list goes on. But the political climate was not really in my top 10 for why. And I wanted to share those whys because those are not whys that I heard a lot, honestly, when I was even doing my own research. Even though this might resonate with others folks too, and I just wanted to put that in the conversation. But whatever your why is, or whatever your whys are, that's what anchors. That's what helps keep you from the haters that's trying to say you running away when you're just trying to live your life. And the last thing I'll say about what I feel can be problematic is that that comment feels like it's a comment on resistance, as if resistance, I feel like it diminishes resistance to something. Because what is happening, like, even if you're not there, you're not unaffected. You're not totally removed. Like, it's disgusting and disheartening, the complete lack for humanity and human life. It's also not new, and it's also not surprising. It's like, oh, that tracks. Doesn't make it any less disgusting or evil, but it tracks. And there has always been resistance to that. And it has looked many different ways. So people are like, oh, you're running. But I'm like, resistance isn't just fighting and taking up arms, which it at times has had to be that. Resistance is also in the arts, in deciding that we are going to express ourselves through music, through poetry, through dance, that we are going to find ourselves and love and culture in those spaces. Resistance is in looking at someone who's decided that I'm going to live on the fringe and I'm going to do something that maybe you haven't thought of, and it's going to be an alternative to what you thought was the only way. Sometimes resistance is, you know what, I know how to read, or I have this skill and I'm going to teach this skill to someone else so they can teach it to someone else, and they can feed themselves and their family can feed themselves with this skill, whether it was literacy or any other like practical skill that needs to be done. Like, resistance comes in so many different forms. And one of the things, and I was talking to a friend about this, that diminishes resistance is that idea in the beginning of like that black and white. Like, live in the gray and live in the nuance, because that's where the truths come in. Because more than one thing can be true at the same time. And that kind of made it challenging to hear that, right? And so this is our why, this is their why, but whatever your why is for why you're making a change, why you're making a decision majorly or whatever seems small in your life, anchor yourself to the reason that you're doing it, no matter what anybody else has to say, whether they're trolls, whether there's people in the family, people, friends who may doubt the decision. Sometimes you have to make it, maybe it's a mistake. Sometimes you have to make a mistake, quote unquote. You have to learn the lesson from that so that you can do something differently next time. And so, yeah, anchoring to the why you're doing something, writing it down, but having that as a source of strength and knowing has been really important for us in making this transition. And we've only been here a month, and where's here? Because I would say where we were and why we picked here. We are currently in Panama City, Panama. We have been here for about a month, and we chose here for a lot of reasons. The world's a vast place. We've got a long list, but we started here, one, because we wanted to ease into this lifestyle. We wanted to be like, let's ease in, slow travel with the kids. And Panama City, Panama kept coming up as a place that you can do that. It was in Latin America, so I knew I was going to get the culture, that family-oriented culture. I wanted to work on my Spanish for Spanish immersion. Hello, okay, I'm definitely doing that here. I have my last remaining parents in the States. I didn't want to be too far, to be honest. I'm not in the season. It wasn't so long ago that my mom passed away. So I wanted to be a plane ride from my dad that wasn't a daunting journey. The ease of just the currency. There wasn't a currency exchange because the Balboa and the dollar are 1-to-1. You can use, the dollar here. And just people that I had connected with that had lived here, I was like, okay, I want to meet them in person. Let's do it. This felt feasible, a visa process that we were eligible for and that we could do to be able to reside here. Like all of those things started to converge and be like, okay, let's start our journey in Panama. So that is where we currently are. And hopefully I've said something that resonated. I will let you in. This is the first of a sprint for me here on YouTube, starting YouTube for the first time, posting in this way. I've posted things from other places. This is the first time I'm posting in this way. And this is the first day of posting daily, building that muscle, talking to the camera, talking to you through the camera, and hoping that I'm not just talking to myself. And it feels vulnerable, even as someone who's been on social media for like 9 years for business and talking about life and curating content and all of that. This feels different. This feels new, and I'm excited to kind of play. And I intend to make videos about our journey from a relational standpoint. So looking at how it affects me, what's happening to me in this space, what's happening for me in this space and in this transition and in this change. How is it affecting my relationship with my husband and my marriage and our family dynamic, relationships with friends, from the perspective of just a person who's out here making this transition, a wife, a homeschooling mama, from the perspective of a coach, a marriage coach for the last 9 years, and from bringing all those perspectives together to share this journey with you. So if that sounds like a ride you want to ride on, please subscribe to my channel. And if you have thoughts or questions or something resonated with you from this video, please let me know down in the comments. We can continue the conversation there. If this video hits a mark for you or something was said that hits you, please like. And bienvenidos. Welcome to this space, to this corner of the YouTube internet with me. And I appreciate you. I appreciate you listening. Estoy aquí. I am here. And this is part of my growth. And you get to see that in real time. And I'm excited to be here. I'm Imani Aisha, and I will be here making videos to hopefully inspire, motivate, and empower you to feel good in your relationship with self and others through the inevitable changes and challenges that life will throw at you. It's life be like them. And I'm here today and currently every day. So I'm gonna see y'all tomorrow. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you hopefully in the comments. And on the flip side, te veo mañana.